All right, finally it logged on. Took it a hot minute to get live there. There we go. We are live. Good to see all of you on here. I already see it up in the comments. Rest in peace, Toby Keith. We did lose Toby Keith today, so a lot of people are bummed out about that. Huge musical star. So definitely a bummer as far as that goes. I forgot to put a poll question up, so let me ask the poll question right here. I was editing the video, so after this, give me about 10 or 15 minutes after this live stream ends, and there will be a video up that you guys can watch as well. Didn't quite finish editing it before this started here. Let's see. What is the poll question here? Oh, yeah. Future of the Clash. Daytona. Get rid of it. All right, there we go. Poll question is up. What should be the future of the Clash? Do it at Daytona, move it around, get rid of it, do it at Daytona every fourth year, or move it around and then move it around the other 3 years. So the bottom one is sort of like the Olympics. You do it at Daytona every 4 years, and then the third year you move it around. Get rid of it, of course, is the other option. So let you guys vote on that. And that's just my thoughts on it. Denny Hamlin gave his thoughts on it on the actions detrimental, and Dale Jr. said he would like to see it back in Daytona on his first podcast, I guess, of the season. So interesting thoughts there. Denny Hamlin he wants it back, but as a car owner, he doesn't want to tear up a lot of stuff there. So he would rather just get rid of it altogether, I guess is what he was saying, and then just have more practice at Daytona. So he is, I guess, in the camp of throwing it all the way altogether, and just put all those resources toward I guess, more practice at Daytona. I don't know. So gonna be super interesting how it plays out here as far as you guys voting on it. Mark Barnum saying, evening peace. What's up, Mark Barnum? What's up in between the lanes? Napa Racing fan dropping the Toby Keith in there for sure. Rest in peace to Toby Keith, absolute legend. What's up, wise guy? Lovey, greetings, fellow BB enjoyers. Good to see you on here. Always Lovey. And Mark Barnum saying, what's up to in between the lanes of wise guys. So Junior says he hasn't renewed his contract with NBC. So that's interesting. If NBC is wise, they'll get that job done because he is a big draw. He is, I don't know if you guys looked at the credits for the Netflix deal, but he was the executive producer behind that Netflix deal. And to me, that's a big reason that Netflix deal was as good as it was, because he just knows what to say to those guys. He knows what's interesting to the race fans. So if NBC's smart, they'll ink him to that deal, and they'll also give him more reign to kind of do projects like that. Because if you're signed to NBC, that probably should have been on Peacock. What up, BB? Sad day losing a country legend, says Chrome Diesel. For sure. Salutations to you as well, Shy. I'd like to see him go to CW for Xfinity. Says Mark Barnum. That would be pretty funny. That would be a huge coup d'etat for the CW, by the way. And he could actually work that into his contract, where he negotiates with NBC, but he also says, "Hey, I'm going to do the Xfinity races." That's something he could put in the contract, and that would be pretty cool. Because he's a big enough name that he could pull that off. Joe Rogan just did a deal with Spotify, re-up with Spotify, but under his deal, he can go to other platforms and post the stuff, so it's not Spotify exclusive anymore. So maybe Dale Jr. can pull that same deal. Let's see. Breaking news: sources say James Dennis Allen Hamlin, formerly known as Denny Hamlin, has officially retired. The phrase "I beat your favorite driver." Yeah, it was. So he did it because. He gave two reasons. One reason he gave is his dad told him it was too cocky. And the other reason he gave is because he basically said what I said on the show post race. If you keep doing it, it's just gonna. I thought it was corny the second time. The first time it was legitimately funny. I laughed. I thought it was pretty funny the first time he did it. It's just it gets corny if you keep doing it over and over again, in my opinion, which is all I can do on this show as far as that stuff goes. But I'm glad he retired it because it was funny the first time. Maybe a little chuckle for some people the second time, but after a while, it's just going to get old and boring. Let's say corny. It just gets corny after a while. It's like I don't know, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like for every commercial for like a long time, I'll be back or whatever. After a while, it was really cool in Terminator, but then it got corny. Let's see. I think the Clash. He's got a State Farm commercial in the Super Bowl coming up too, by the way. So Arnold's still getting it done. I think the Clash should move to a different track each season. That would be cool. Like my personal preference is move it around and every fourth year have it at Daytona, so it's sort of special like the Olympics. But you guys have heard that before. Clash should be North Wilkesboro, Dirt, Eldora. Not sure the 3 for Daytona. Just move it around. Like it doesn't matter where you move it around. Just move it around. That way it gets into different markets. But I do think every fourth year having it at Daytona, like it does build the hype for Daytona. Like you know who's going to be. You sort of have favorites because you see who does good in the Clash and like, oh, that dude's going to be tough in the 500. So it does sort of build up like that. I honestly think Speed Week should be called Days of Thunder because it's literally just a few days and not even a week, says Levy Barkley. That would be cool, but I'm pretty sure Paramount or whoever owns the rights to Days of Thunder will not let that happen. The Mexico race was a lot better than the Clash, says Robert Key. That's a fact. The Mexico race, it was just more racy. Like there was more more aggression. And I think, to be honest with you, if you think about those Mexico guys, they know that's probably their only opportunity to race that track. They wanted the bragging rights. There was so much more on the line. The stakes were higher. They raced a lot harder than probably the Cup drivers, or at least I don't know. They raced a different level of intensity. I'm not gonna say they raced harder, but they raced with a different level of intensity. And it probably meant a lot more to them. Plus, there was that really cool trophy that that Daniel Suarez ended up winning, but they were racing for that as well. So a lot of just I think that was just a way more special event to them than the drivers going back there for the third year of the LA Clash, how they felt about that. And that's what I'm saying. If you move it around every year, even the Cup drivers will have that because they'll be like, oh, I don't know if we'll ever be back here again. I want to be the guy that gets the trophy to take home from this place because we know might not be coming back. Go back to Daytona Oval for the Clash and have an exhibition race somewhere before the Daytona stuff. So there you go. Just add another race is Duke Chronic's idea. I didn't have enough slots here, but if I did, that would have been the fifth option where you just add another race. Poll question is up, by the way. Future of the Clash, I have it at Daytona, move it around, get rid of it, do it at Daytona every fourth year, and then move it around the other 3 years. That's as much text as they'll let me have, so I couldn't type out the whole thing. So the bottom one is move it around every 3 years, and then the fourth year have it at Daytona. Right now, 39% want to just move it around, period. So there you go. Let's see. Also, Door Bumper Clear and Actions Detrimental have their own YouTube channel. It says In Between the Lanes, so that's cool. That's definitely new for this season. It is at least new to me, so that's going to be really cool. Dale Jr. agrees with us. Says Duke Chronic. Rockingham for 3, maybe. Oh, for the third one, talking about where the next 3, where he wants to see the next 3 at. I remember the Busch Series champ. Into the race. That would be cool. Yeah. Put the because what was it, the number 95 Busch car for the year 95? Then it was the 94 Busch car for the year 94. Wasn't it like David Green or somebody? So that was I do remember that. That is a wow. I've forgotten all about it until you said something, but I do remember it now that you said that. Clash should go to the old retired, semi-retired tracks. The ones people are trying to revive is my point. Oh yeah, for sure. Like Rockingham. Look, something's going to be done with Rockingham. It would not surprise me at all if Rockingham is the next destination for the Clash if they can't make it happen in Mexico, because they're building up Rockingham for some reason. Rockingham's ready to go right now. Like basically, they're ready to go. I'll just go ahead and tell you that. So there's a reason they're building it up. Damn, let me retype that. I remember the Busch Series champ used to be invited into the Busch Clash. I got you, Escobar. Rockingham would be my preference. Daytona just doesn't get the attendance. Yeah, but I think you could get the attendance at Daytona if you did it every fourth year, like because that would add some stakes to it. That would add some relevancy to it. So that's what I'm saying. Move it around. Nowhere is going to get good attendance if you do it there every single year because people just get complacent. They're like, oh, I've seen that. On to the next one. But if you know you're only going to see it, this might be the only year you see it for another 4 or 5 years, or maybe the only year you'll ever see it. You better go. That's one thing that SRX had working for it. They changed because they only race 6 races. They changed their schedule every season. So if it was a new track that got added on there, you knew there was a good chance it wasn't getting added on there again. So you better go there. Clash, in my opinion, had been overlooked. Expanding the eligibility, increased car counts, and increased race length is what caused all these issues to begin with, says Chrome Diesel. I agree with you. It's a typical NASCAR thing. They just want more and more. We got to get more and more. They did the same thing with the playoffs. Oh, it went from 12 to 16. Like, just got to have more. Got to have more. More is always better. Might as well just make the playoffs 32 cars. F it. I almost said it for real. That's why I said that there. Have you heard the rumors for Fox, ESPN, Warner Brothers streaming service? I mean, from what I hear, it's not even a rumor. They're just going to do it. Supposedly, it's F1, NASCAR, Le Mans 24. Concern is they'll get all these sports rights, but just pay to stream European coverage. Says Cody, I don't know exactly how it's going to work, but apparently they're starting their own streaming service just for sports. It's basically the exact same thing ESPN did when cable came about. ESPN just became a sports network, and they started acquiring all these properties. It's the same concept, except you got three partners instead of ESPN just being ESPN at that time. So the longer the world goes around, the more things become similar, right? So good for them. Hopefully it works out. We'll have to see all that plays out in the future. I really hope his dad's exact words were Denny stop being a chode. Says say Kyle. His dad didn't like the cockiness, which is pretty ironic that's where he drew the line. Like he's like, that of all the stuff you said, that's where we draw the line. That's just getting a little too cocky. So I thought that was interesting as well. I don't think removing the Clash is the right answer, but there definitely should be Daytona 500 practice this year. There's 0 practice. There should be a bare minimum 1 hour happy hour practice, says Napa Race Man. I agree with you, especially because you got guys in there that have never raced. Like you take like a Shane Van Gisbergen, like he's never raced a race like that in those type of cars. More practice for any type of rookie, I think is a good idea. The Clash at Rockingham next year, says Camaro 50. It would not surprise me at all. Would not surprise me at all. Let me say this, BB. Kyle Petty said the same thing about Denny Hamlin, and is now retired. Has now retired the catchphrase. There you go. Kyle Petty, great minds think alike. Did you hear what Logano said today on SiriusXM? It was pretty funny hearing him break down his history with Gibbs, with Ty Gibbs says they're deaf. Yeah, I didn't catch all of what he said, but I did catch the. I'll tell you honestly what I caught. I caught the title of Eric Estep's video, which I haven't seen yet, where Joey Logano says his words mean nothing. So I was like, well, I guess Joey Logano is not over it. So I thought that was interesting. So I knew Joey Logano wouldn't be over it. And deep down, I feel like regardless of what Ty Gibbs, we've seen this pattern with Ty Gibbs, right? They have him media coached to say what he thinks people want to hear, and that's on them for basically forcing him to do that, in my opinion. But I don't think Ty Gibbs is going to let it go either. I think those two genuinely just don't like each other, and this thing is going to it's going to spill over into the regular season. So I think it'll be something to watch going forward. Daytona Speed Minutes is Daytona Speed Minutes nowadays. Maybe hours. LOL, says Shaw. Problem with moving the Clash around is a limited amount of locations that are warm enough in January. Florida is a big state. There's a lot of racetracks in Florida. California is definitely a big state. There's quite a few opportunities for them to do things in California if they can build a racetrack at a football stadium every year. I don't disagree with you. I'm not sure about New Mexico. I guess it gets really cold in Mexico at nighttime. I'm guessing parts of Arizona stay warm. I want to guess. I don't know. I'll have to look at a climate map for those months. But yeah, you do bring up a valid point there for sure. As much as I want the Clash in Daytona, but I do think there's enough places they could have it where it wouldn't be that big of a deal. As much as I want the Clash in Daytona, the current package and tires not wearing out will cause single file racing. Yeah, they got to do something about the tires for sure. I recently saw Willie B's new Raptor paint scheme. It's ugly. I think all his paint schemes are ugly, says T-Van. I don't like the Raptor paint scheme. I'm not a fan of that. It's gotten better. It's gotten better than it was, but he's had his paint schemes that I've seen so far have either been really good for this season or really bad. He's had 50-50 paint schemes, but some of his paint schemes that I've seen are pretty good. I'm not gonna say that they were all ugly. Hey, but yeah, he does have like half of them that are ugly. I will say that as well. Junior said about an hour ago, put it back in Daytona, and only pole winners would be able to race. I do think that's the other thing. Just make it for pole winners and don't just open it up to everybody, because I do think that was the other thing that's making it stale. The 500, he said he did not care if it lasted 20 minutes, and I agree. Same here. Make it. Well, what was it? What was it back in the day? 25 laps. Let them have at it. Just let them have at it. If you ever have been to Mexico and seen how they drive down there, no wonder their race was better, says Mark Barnum. Haven't had the experience yet, but maybe one day. Dale Jr. Put it better than I ever could, but the Clash needs to go back to Daytona. It served a purpose to hype up and tease the biggest race of the year. If we can't have speed weeks, give us the Clash. NASCAR needs to do something. That was Eric there. NASCAR needs to do something about speed weeks. The lack of it is hurting the Daytona 500. That's probably the biggest thing. You're taking your biggest, most valuable race, the Daytona 500, and you're devaluing it by A, not having practice, B, not having a full speed weeks that built up the momentum of that. And then you've got the Clash, which was everybody watched the Clash and like, oh, this guy's going to be really fast for the 500. Then you'd watch the Gatorade or the Twin 125s. You watch both of them and you'd be like, oh man, these guys are going to be fast. And you just had this build up. And then when the actual race happened on Sunday, it was just such a much bigger thing, because you had all these storylines. You have your Clash winner, you got your 125 winners, and then if somebody because Earnhardt would always race in the Busch Series, Earnhardt would usually win the Busch Series race as well. So the guys that race down there in the Xfinity Series or whatever, that would be a build up too, and then possibly somebody racing in the Truck Series also would be a build up. So it just they take away from it a little bit. Byron's Raptor brings me Gordon's AARP nostalgia, says Chrome Diesel. The AARP car, not a lot of people remember that when they think about Jeff Gordon, but he definitely ran it for a long time. Most people, when they think of Gordon, they think of either the Flames or went the wrong way, or the wrong hand. It's all backwards. Yeah, that car right there, the 24 with the rainbow. Anyway, let's see. It doesn't seem like Peacock really care. Lost Speedways is gone, and now it seems like the download isn't being simulcast. I believe that's why allegedly the download full episodes are on YouTube now. So look, I'm going to be totally honest with you. For Dale Jr. or for Peacock to let Dale Jr. go, and for Dale Jr. to start posting them on YouTube, YouTube has way more reach than Peacock. So it's not going to hurt Jr. at all. I think it's going to hurt Peacock, but it is what it is. So I think it's actually going to make Jr. I think it's going to make the Dale Jr. download bigger now that it's on YouTube, and it's going to make all the associated Dirty Mo stuff, because you guys just said that they have a channel for each individual show that they have now. So I think it's just going to make those things way bigger. Those things are going to be way bigger, because instead of just watching the clips, you'll get the full episodes as well. So I think it's going to have more reach now. I say get rid of the Clash in LA, and it sucks. And it is not NASCAR, says James Maroon. Say Chrome, I got Gordon vibes as well. I like it. Joey throwing some more wood on that fire between him and Gibbs. Yeah, I mean, Joey is not gonna he's not gonna back up. Jonathan, appreciate it. He said cool t-shirt. So yeah, you can get those at the store if you like them. I think they still got the 2-for-1 going. I don't think they've taken that off. So if you put both of them in there and you go to the checkout, you'll see that one of them is buy one get one free. So test that out for me if you want to. Somebody. BB just remembered I got the yellow version of that shirt. LOL. I need to find that. So yeah, there is a like Michigan yellow. Ironically, a little bit lighter than Michigan yellow, but Michigan colors, yellow and blue, and they won the championship this year. Even in the new Camry, looks like a spaceship. Toyota schemes for the Clash were nice, says Lovey. Yeah, that's what I was trying to tell you. For whatever reason, Toyota picked probably the most butt ugly scheme for their basic like Toyota reveal of their car. And I just knew from the shape of the car, when you let the actual graphic artists just let them loose and do the schemes that they were going to do for the Cup Series drivers, I knew that car would look a lot better. So I knew it would end up being a good looking car. Eric Jones' Family Dollar car. I'm a big fan of that. Rockingham arguably had the better racing than Wilkesboro. And Christopher Bell, I hate that he didn't make the race. I hate that Eric Jones didn't make it either. But Christopher Bell, that Mobil 1 scheme, that was fire. That was one of the best Mobil 1 schemes I've ever seen. Rockingham arguably had the better racing than North Wilkesboro. Both should have had a spot on the schedule, though, and shouldn't have left. Yeah, but it got that was who was that? That was Bruton. Bruton was doing what he wanted to do there, and he had enough money to do it. I think Rockingham just needs to put a softball where NASCAR wants now. No, the softballs from the pictures I've seen, they've got the softballs up at Rockingham, if I'm not mistaken. Grandpa, I might be wrong, but I think they have them up. Grandpa, that bully Joey is picking on me. LOL, says Mark Barnum. I'd say why not have the Clash and Daytona 500 qualifying the same day. Qualifying, yeah, as long as it's not the duels, yeah, you could do both of them on the same day for sure. You could, or just do it the day before. Like since they don't do speed weeks anymore, that Monday you do the Clash, Tuesday or whatever you have practice, Wednesday you have qualifying, Thursday you have the duels, and then Friday trucks, Saturday Xfinity, and Sunday you got the Cup race. I mean, that's a nice week right there. February weather plays a big factor on where the Clash could be. It needs to be back at Daytona, says Brian Anderson. BD will share, and we just talked about that just a minute ago, Brian. So yeah, you could have it on the West Coast. You could have it, just closer to where the equator is. Those particular venues. BD will Chevy change the car. I mean, they're going to have to change it eventually. They can't just keep running the Camaro. And I'm interested to see what Chevrolet brings, because they basically, without saying so much, have given up on EV cars because EV cars didn't catch on the way they thought they would. Even though OEMs were trying to shove them down people's throats, people still didn't want to buy them. So a lot of everybody that was big into EVs are backing away from them now, and they're reassessing how they're running their business. I predict the new Camaro will be hydrogen powered. GM, Honda announced a hydrogen prototype engine. EV hype is dropping down the cliff. Yeah, so GM and Honda were also working together on an EV. So I wouldn't hold my breath on that, because they put the EV on hold to work on the hydrogen engine. And if the hydrogen stuff doesn't take off the way they think, they could just as easily drop that. But yeah, they are. Honda and General Motors are working closely together. So it wouldn't surprise me to see whatever the next version of the car is would have a hybrid option with hydrogen or something like that. It's limited where you can go. It's February. And it could be daggum cold still, says Mark 63. I definitely love the Clash at Rockingham, says T-Van. I think Denny Hamlin wins the Brickyard 400 because Pocono is the most similar to Indianapolis, and Hamlin has crossed the line first in the last two Pocono races, and I don't care if he got penalized in 2022. For sure. Like, Denny Hamlin owns Pocono, and it wouldn't surprise me to see him win at the Brickyard ever. It doesn't surprise me to see him win anywhere. So, I mean, he's always a good pick there. Has your race team ever raced at Hickory Motor Speedway, says David? We have raced at Hickory. We finished second to Ryan Repko. If you watch the episode of the Dale Jr. Download where Dave Marcus is on there, and they show the car that Ryan Repko, because he had the Dave Marcus throwback scheme on, you show the car getting past the red car where Dave Marcus refers to us as the other guy burned up his tires. That was Craig, and we didn't burn up the tires. We just didn't have as good a setup as they did. But it is what it is. We were on the Dale Jr. Download getting passed by Ryan Repko for the win. So there you go. If you want to pull up that episode, that's us in the red stroke race number 7. LA did get that weather, still raining Monday too, says Duke Chronic. Yeah, for sure. They definitely, I think they've had like 16 inches or something crazy like that. Logano said he wrecked Ty at Martinsville because he had enough from several weeks prior. When I saw it live at Martinsville, I was there live. Obviously, I didn't need a replay. I knew exactly what that was about. I was like, the way he punted him, I was like, that was that goes back to something Ty did somewhere that Joey didn't like. So yeah, for sure, Dirty Diff. They have not liked each other for a long time. I agree with you on that one. Maybe I'm old fashioned, but man, I love the old Speed Weeks as X do too. I did too. And the way to keep that fresh is to move it there every 4th year. That way you still have it. So I think that would be cool. I'd say JGR has the best paint scheme this season. So far, those Mobil 1 paint schemes have been good. Not a huge fan. I wasn't like necessarily in love DeWalt always does a great job. DeWalt, whatever you want to call it, does a great job with their paint schemes. But I was not in love with the 20 DeWalt scheme. What is it with Logano and Gibbs drivers? First with former Gibbs drivers, Tony Stewart, then Hamlin, then KFB, then Kenseth, then Truex, now Gibbs. I don't know. I just feel like that just may be like a personal thing. They let him go. He probably didn't want to be let go, and obviously he's proved his point that he's a good race car driver. So I think he just races the JGR drivers harder. I think there's something to that. I'm ready for the Swift Bowl to get over with and have the Daytona 500 to get here since Napa Racing. I'm hoping the 49ers win, but I don't know. It's going to be a good game, I think. I like how qualifying for the Clash actually meant something big. Big names going home. Yeah, so that's the other thing. Like you had so many cars, people went home. Now with the modern charter system, you just don't get that as much. The original Clash was 20 laps, and the previous season pole winners were the only drivers eligible for it. Yeah, that's the other thing that made it special. They modified the rules and ruined that by letting everybody else in. We had talked about that a little bit earlier, I believe, as well. Ty Gibbs just plays lip service toward things. Kid has no personality. He can race for sure, but his personality is hidden deep away. What I've seen glimpses of does not indicate a good person, in my opinion, says Shaw. I mean, he's a young kid. Like, he's 19, maybe 20, maybe 20. He may be 21 by now. I don't know. But he's definitely like a young kid. There's not like a lot of young kids that grew up in this situation that aren't going to be just a little bit spoiled because you said spoiled right down here below. So I'm not gonna sit there and I don't know, crucify the guy. I don't want to use the word crucify because he does bring up religion quite a bit, because I don't want people to think I'm joking about that. But like I don't want to crucify the guy because like he's still a young kid. Like it's going to take him a while. It took all of us when we were younger a while to mature. So I'm going to give him some time to grow up. But I don't think he's any different than any other kid at that age being in the Cup Series. They're going to be a little bit immature. But yeah, he does rub a lot of people the wrong way for sure. There's no doubt about that. He's going to be up there with Denny Hamlin. He'll be the next Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch type driver over at Joe Gibbs Racing. Top 25 drivers as far as rubbing people the wrong way. I'm not saying he's going to have as many wins, although I do think he's very talented. Top 25 drivers, I think he's got the potential to do it. Top 25 drivers in points from the year before would make a fair field at Daytona for a Clash race. I don't know, man. 25 is a lot. I like the pole winners. I'm just old and traditional like that. But yeah, either way you do it, you just don't have too many cars. Mike had to leave the podcast to focus on Dirty Mo Media 100%. So yeah, that might mean he's not going to re-up with Dirty Mo with NBC. NASCAR getting the hell out of California and don't look back, says Angus 420. I don't think they're getting out of California. I just think they're not going to race at the LA Coliseum anymore. Good evening, James Melee. Good to see you on here as well. I'm retired now, but when I worked, I could clock out and go home and watch the duels. My boss would get mad, but he understood I was a diehard NASCAR fan, says Robert Key. That's always a good deal. I remember I always got sick in February for whatever reason, but that's just the way it is. Dale Jarrett has won all three races at Speed Weeks, the Shootout, the Duel, and the 500. Yeah, so that was always the thing you look forward to too. Can somebody pull off the sweep? Can you win the Clash? Can you win a dual race? And can you win the 500? That was something that was always a big deal. Good point there. Like this, Garage Guy Chase is the new co-host of Speed Street with Connor Daly. I'm glad you brought that up in between the lanes, because that's really awesome news, man. Good for excuse me. Good for Chase, man. He seems like a really good dude, really nice dude. So good for him, and I'm glad he's getting that opportunity over there. BB, let's put snow tires on him and run it at New Hampshire International Speedway. It will be the best race New Hampshire has ever had. Hey, there you go. BB, do you sell a Flex Fit hat? If not, need one. My big head needs one. So we do. There's a black version of this hat, and it is there you go. It is a Flex Fit hat. So there you go. We do have them. I don't know if they have the gray one anymore. I think this one sold out. But if you guys want the gray hat back, I'm pretty sure we can get them back. But we do have a black version like this with the same brown patch. That's a flex fit hat. I know that for sure. And there's the link right there for the merch as put up there by one wise guy. Y'all are probably way different on the feed than I am, but it is up there. If you search out one wise guy, he did drop the link, and I appreciate you, wise guy. Shout out to my Wolverines, go blue, says X dude. So that's how far I am in reading the comments. Rockingham for the new Clash. As for Gibbs, he is a spoiled brat. Everything has been handed to him. He hasn't earned what he has. He doesn't give respect. I don't think he even respects the sport the way he should. He is a punk, says Acid. A lot of people feel like that. That being said, and he's going to rub people the wrong way. That being said, you don't have to like him, but I tell you what, he is a pretty good race car driver. So you are going to have to deal with him at some point. And I get that he's sitting in the best of the best equipment, but the guy can drive, even though people don't like him. So he might be one of those people that sticks. It might be a thorn in a lot of people's side for a long time to come. Discord link is right there as well. One wise guy put that up there. So if you want to check us out on Discord, we try to. I've been trying to talk about when the races are happening, while the races are going on. I try to move all that conversation over to Discord. I miss all the sponsor stickers on the front fenders, says David Nahoff, talking about the contingency stickers. Rockingham for the All-Star, Mexico or Guadalajara for the Clash. Yeah, I don't know where they're gonna. I don't know where they're going to move. I don't know where they're going to move the Clash if they go to Mexico City, but Guadalajara would be a cool option. Mexico City they've done before, so that's definitely an option. I like the way you're thinking there, James. Chevy going to Corvette. We're just gonna have to wait and see what Chevrolet does. They said they're coming with another Chevrolet car, so we'll have to see what it is. Corvette's coming with a 4-door coupe, and I said that right. That's just what Chevrolet's calling it, or Corvette's calling it. So I imagine the Chevrolet car is going to be a clone of the Corvette coupe, and they're going to badge it a Chevrolet whatever. C9s are going to be on the track, says Angus 420. Let's see. Move Sonoma to race 2 of 2025. Logano said, let's face it, I have to race with him the rest of my career. He has a fast car, and it's not like he's going to get fired, says Dirty Death. That's pretty funny, and it's accurate, too. Corvette's going to be a Chevy brand like Buick and Pontiac now. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I think Chevrolet is going to come with another nameplate, but it's just going to be a rebadged 4-door version of the Corvette because, like I said, Corvette's coming with a 4-door version. Bones with the super chat. Appreciate you. There is the fist bump, my friend. Thank you very much. I'm shocked nobody wants EVs. LOL, says X dude. How like they ruined the Clash. If they work like they did, where they don't show any of the action, I hope that's not the case. But I'm going to cut them some slack because they probably didn't have their full crew there. The problem I have with nobody going to the Clash was you used to be able to buy the whole Speed Weeks package, Clash, qualifying duels, and then they stopped offering it, says Mark Martin fan. That's for sure. I remember that back in the day. Sonoma gets rain in February. Tunnel Turn at Pocono is copied from the Indy track. Even as a Hamlin hater, the Pocono incident was bullcrap. Yeah, I mean, but here's the deal. It was the thinnest of margins. It was bullcrap. But here's where I stand on that. They wouldn't have had it there if it didn't help them do something. And I have, in that particular case, I have no sympathy for Denny Hamlin because when Clint Boyer's spoiler was the thickness of a dime off, and they took all those points away from Clint Boyer, and he missed the chase or whatever. Denny Hamlin's like, well, he was doing that for a reason. So by Denny Hamlin's same logic that he used on Clint Boyer, I have to use Denny Hamlin's same logic on his car. They were doing it for a reason. I think both of them were bull crap, to be totally honest with you. But in that particular situation, because of what being an RCR man for life, I was still mad about that. So using that same logic, I couldn't have any sympathy for Denny Hamlin. But I do agree with you. Something like that, God, that's chintzy. That's as chintzy as it gets. All right, one wise guy. What racetrack should be number 2, especially the West Coast swing? I don't know. Just whatever they're going to do with Fontana, they need to fix it. They need to do what they're going to do with Fontana before I can say what the West Coast swing should look like. Fox always remembers their Fox and continues making zoom shots, then showing kids in the stands. Yeah, so the kids in the stands. Never get enough of that. Did you see the Coyote bit a player in Las Vegas on the practice field yesterday? I didn't see that. That's crazy. Oh, my God, that's crazy. I hope it wasn't Rabbit. Ty got that twink bod, says Angus 420. Staying away from that one. Let's see. Dale Jr. picked the 49ers. Oh, man. I don't know if that's good or not. I don't know what his track record looks like. Hopefully we win. I'm a 49ers fan, for those that don't know. So I'm nervous about it. I don't want it to be another repeat of the last time we played the Chiefs in the Super Bowl where we dominated the game and then gave it away at the end. Or they went and won it at the end. But you know what I'm saying. From my perspective, we gave it away at the end. Your Xfinity champion pick for this year says Enzo. I'm going to go with Justin Allgaier. I think Justin Allgaier is finally going to punch that ticket. So that's going to be who I lean toward. AJ Allmendinger would be another good one. He's eventually got to punch that ticket, in my opinion, as well. And if you want a guy that hasn't been doing it forever, I think either Brandon Jones or Sam Mayer would also be a good pick. Sammy Smith. I don't know. There's so many options, but I'll just say the one that I started off with. I want to see Justin Allgaier win it, so hopefully he gets it done. It sucks that he doesn't have a championship in that series. That's all I'll say about it. Alfonso Lorenzo says Angus 420. Both my teams in the Super Bowl, so don't care who wins as long as it's a good game, says Mark Barnum. There you go. What's the race? And I'm not going to be super mad if the Chiefs win because, that's where I was mad when Joe Montana was forced out of San Francisco. Like a soft spot for the Chiefs. What's the race over under? But I really hope the 49ers don't lose again. For Ty Baby to throw hands, I don't know if he'll throw hands again. I think he's learned his lesson from that. I hope he doesn't throw hands with Joey Logano because Joey Logano's got about a foot of reach on him. I don't know if he could even. I think he'd run out of throw, as Michael Waltrip said before he got there. James, I would move it to Homestead and around after that, just for the weather reasons. Says one wise guy. That's true. I understand what you're saying now when you're talking about rain. I was lost earlier. Sorry about that, wise guy. Yeah. So you Sonoma, having Sonoma there and having it as a rain race. I don't know though. That might add to the allure of it, having rain tires at Sonoma. I don't know. I'll have to think on that one, wise guy. We finally get. It would suck for the fans though. So I see what you're saying. In California, it's a big deal when it rains up there because you don't get rain that often. I think. I don't know. Let's see. We finally get. I think like the oil on the road rises up because I don't know. It's something weird. We get rain all the time in North Carolina, so we don't have that particular issue when it rains. We finally get some parity in the sport, and fans don't like it. I'm confused, says David Nyhoff. I mean, no matter what happens in NASCAR, somebody's going to find something to complain about. Believe that, my friend. Let's see. Kurt Busch was very unliked when he was young. Jimmy Spencer tried to straighten him out, says Mark Barnum. He straightened him out by crookeding his nose, from what I remember. I've seen lots of young drivers with personality. My point is Ty Gibbs has no personality. I got you. What I see comes across as an act. What he thinks we want to see. I do agree that he is media coached up quite a bit. I wish they'd let him be more of himself. But then again, if they know him better than we do, so maybe they're keeping him until he matures a little bit so he can be himself. So maybe they're protecting him from himself for right now. What we want to hear, not just the fans, but other drivers and whatnot. Yeah, I do agree with you that he's coached up by the media people, but I don't really have a problem with that, especially for somebody that young, because a lot of these young drivers need that help from media coaches. So I actually don't have a problem with that. You sort of just think about yourself being 20 years old and being a Cup driver and being under that scrutiny. I don't have a problem with them being coached up by the media because, I mean, you could say or do something stupid and it'll stick with you for your whole. Let's look at Noah Gragson. He liked a meme. He liked a stupid meme, and for the rest of his career, that's going to follow him around, right? So I don't have a problem with younger drivers getting media coached until they come into their own and they mature. I don't necessarily have a problem with them controlling his message. How about we bring back Prelude to dirt races? Now, it gets different when you become like a Cup champion and you won a bunch of races. Like guys like that, like Denny Hamlin and stuff like that, guys that have won a bunch of races, I think they're wise enough at this point in their career to sort of like let it rip and say what they want to say. It's a tough balance. I want drivers to be real, but I don't want drivers that are young and inexperienced to sort of ruin their career by saying something crazy that fans might take the wrong way or whatever. You know what I mean? So that's all I'm getting at there. Sorry, I did say West Coast swing, not staying in Florida, says James. I love how Joey complains about Ty about his driving while he's done the same thing to other drivers over the years. He's never a race fan. that's always the story to me. That's why I always get a trip. I get a kick out of stuff like this. The drivers that get irritated with getting run over the most usually have a pretty high body count. So with the exception of like Martin Truex, Mark Martin, guys like that, I don't really want to hear any of the other drivers complain because they got a pretty high body count of their own. Pole pick for the 500. I got the 3 car. I'm going to go with the 8 car. Kyle Busch was awful close to getting it last year. He might punch it in there this year. And I'll tell you my big pick for the pole. I don't think it'll be a Hendrick car. I think the Hendrick cars will actually focus on race trim, and they won't try to trim it all the way out this season. It used to take me like 2 hours to get out of Rockingham. Allegedly, they fixed that. I've heard it both ways, though. I think comedian Joey Molinaro, who was the previous co-host with Connor Daly, wasn't going to be around for a lot of the shows as in between the lanes. So that might be the issue, like a scheduling issue with his other career. Sometimes that happens. Personality, I can respect. I may like it or dislike it, but I respect a person for who they truly are. Ty to me is just meh, an act. Cannot be trusted. Karma is a biatch. Guadalajara is a cool place. I've been there. They could have the clash at the bullfighting ring in Mazatlan to be a good dirt track. So that's something they haven't tapped into yet, because I feel like bullfighting is a pretty big deal over there. So like if you could do it at like a legendary stadium, or even just maybe around a legendary stadium, I think that would add quite a bit to it. There's all kinds of things you can do with it because NASCAR showed they'll think out of the box for the clash. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with it. But yeah, I like Guadalajara. I think that's a pretty good outside of the box pick. Anybody watch the NHL All-Star Weekend this past weekend? I don't have a huge knowledge base about the NHL. I do like watching it live, but I'm just not I'm not as wise to what's going on as other sports. How come Hamlin keeps having run-ins with HMS drivers? I don't know. It's just the way it sort of works out. I think the fact that JGR and Hendrick and I would throw Penske in there too, but the fact that they're always competing for the title, I think that has a lot to do with it. Have the NFL fit. I think in Joe Gibbs Racing and Hendrick's mind, they're fighting for the top honor. And to me, they're ignoring Penske, who has won the last 2 drivers' championships. Penske has basically figured out how to race in this playoff format better than anybody else. So they've got 3 out of the playoff format type championships, if I'm not mistaken. So to me, everybody talks about Hendrick and Joe Gibbs Racing, and while they do win the most races, Penske's got the best system for winning the championship in this format. So I don't know. I put Penske right up there as one of the top dogs too. I know that's not super controversial, but that's the reason I think like that. Herbst for Xfinity champion. Cannot wait to see how Austin Hill and Sheldon Creed race with one another. That's going to be a great story all season long. Sheldon Creed and Austin Hill. That's going to be a really good one. You got the Chevy versus Toyota. You got the former teammates that don't like each other. That's going to be a great one. I remember back in 2020 or 2021, Jeff Gordon was challenging Boyer to wear their favorite NFL gear. Whoever loses, Gordon's favorite is the 49ers. Yeah, hopefully they can run that back. And Gordon, even though he's like the team principal now, hopefully he can force Boyer to wear the 49ers jersey. If NASCAR can convince Chase to date Taylor Swift, they wouldn't have any attendance or viewership issues with or any other race, I say, Kyle, for that matter. But I don't know. I'll give you my full thoughts about that on Twitter, in the DMs. So Daytona area had I don't think he lined up properly for the media team. Daytona area had a bunch of late model races going during the speed weeks, says Harvey. Having Sonoma with dead grass in June is ugly. Change it up to green Sonoma back in March again, says Napa Racing Fan. Yeah, so I do think they should race at the track when it looks sort of at its peak. 49ers win, and we don't have to see the Kansas City Swifties no more, says Joseph Wooten. I love your picks on Xfinity Championship. I want to see Justin and AJ get them a championship. Yeah, like it would just be such a great story if one of those guys could finally seal the deal. They're both, in my opinion, they're both basically champions, but the playoff format is just so crazy. You never know. How do you think Parker Kligerman does this year? I think Parker Kligerman's a great race car driver. I hope he continues to build that team and does a great job. Hopefully he gets a win. I'm hoping he gets a win He got a win last year, if I'm not mistaken. So hopefully he can get a win or two this year as well and keep building on the momentum they've got. Sonoma just finished the repave of the track in December. Going to be interesting. I bet that place is going to be so fast. It's going to be a good one. Make or break for Parker this year, says Enzo. I feel like Parker every year is make or break for him. He's always got so much pressure on him. Kaz Grala, I think it's make or break for him too. He's just getting sort of like to that age where is he just going to be like a journeyman, just sort of drives for everybody, or is somebody finally going to take a chance on his talent? Same thing with Parker. March or April would be perfect weather for Sonoma. Good point. I could have used a personality coach at 18. Couldn't we all? Couldn't we all? I was a cocky Richard, says Shaw. Yeah, I think I fall into that category too. I wasn't fully emotionally developed at that age. We'll leave it at that. I'm a Klickerman fan, so I hope he does well. I think he'll do pretty good as long as the car is decent. Noah liking that meme. I got 100% overblown, says Joseph Wooten. Well, whether or not it got overblown or not, it's just something that's going to follow him for the rest of his career. There will always be that one fan that just never lets it go. Like, that's just the way life is. I'm not a fan of the new TV deal too much, cable, and I'll just confuse people where to watch every week. Cup races on Fox, FS1, Prime, TNT, NBC, USA, 2025 qualifying on Prime, and True TV. It says Napa Racing fan. Don't forget Comedy Central. HMS sucks. We're having some fun there, by the way. That's not the actual where you can watch stuff. HMS sucks says like dislike, and his HMS sucks for the day. Don't forget about Blaney for the 500. Hey, look, Ryan Blaney's got some of the best numbers. Do I still have it pulled up? Do I have it? Yeah, so here you go. Your best average finishers for Daytona that have raced more than more than one race, I would say. Bubba Wallace is the best with an average finish of 10.7. Joey Logano, that's actually going to surprise a lot of people at 12.5 in the last 6 races. So since 2021, we'll say. Bubba Wallace has an average finish of 10.7, 12.5 for Joey Logano. Kevin Harvick, Skip. Kyle Busch is next best at 15.0. So there you go. Your top 3 are going to be Kyle Busch, Joey Logano, and Bubba Wallace since 2021. That's going to surprise a lot of people. But Ryan Blaney's down here at 15.7. He is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he would be of full-time drivers. He would be 6th with the best average finish there. So yeah, definitely going to be an option there. Austin Cindric's up there as well. He's right behind Ryan Blaney at 15.8. Blaney at 15.7. Corey LaJoy at 15.8. So don't sleep on him. And there you go. That's all it's showing for me right now. But of course, when the 500 rolls around, we'll do the full pre-race where we go over all the odds, all the stats, and stuff like that. Last time a non-Chevy won the Daytona 500 pole was 2012 with Carl Edwards in a 99. Roush Ford says Chrome Diesel. So there you go, Chrome Diesel, letting us know the last time. I don't have it right in front of me, but I trust Chrome. So there you go. Last time was 2012. I didn't know that. That's a great stat, man. I made it this time, says B. What's up, B? Good to see you on here as always. Wonder if John Hunter and Ricky will play nice this season. It just depends. It just depends on how they took that Clash deal. I thought it was 2012 NHL All-Star game wasn't bad, but the skills show is better. Yes, yeah, like the NBA had a problem with the All-Star game for a while too. So, but the skills competitions are always really cool. Do you think Haas will be Noah's main sponsor this year? I think Bass Pro Shops. I'm pretty sure, very confident Bass Pro Shop is coming to Noah. He's also got Rush Trucking Centers and Haas, so I think you'll see sort of a combination of that rolling around. Been a sad day. We lost Toby Keith this morning. I've been listening to him all day. Says B. We also, like a couple days ago, lost Apollo Creed. I can't think of the actor's actual name, but he was in Happy Gilmore too, with the fake hand. We lost him as well, so that was a bummer, man. So it's just been a bummer as far as that goes. But yeah, absolutely respect to Toby Keith and Apollo Creed. See where Tony Stewart told the SHR teams they're at the bottom of the barrel. Time to move up. They've done it before. It says Brickyard Brickhead. Yeah, I'm glad he told them that. And I'm glad that they're refocused. And I think you saw that in the Clash where you got 3 of the 4 cars in the Clash. I know Noah didn't run as good as he wanted to, but he did get the car in the Clash. So that was a feat by itself, because you look at some of the guys that went home from the Clash. it's a pretty stout list of guys that went home. The 8, the 12, or the 6 could win the 500 this year, says Mark Barnum. I like all your picks there. What's up, B? Says T Van. Hey, EB, says Mark Barnum. Would you replace Clint Boyer with Kurt Busch in the booth? That's a tough call. That's a tough call, man. I don't know. I like the. It's not popular, but I like the chaos that Clint Boyer brings. I did go to the cardiologist this morning, and everything was good. Got to go back in a month, but everything is looking great, healing well. That's some of the best news we've heard all day. So we're glad you're doing good, and we all keeping you in our thoughts and prayers, B. And always glad when you're on. You know we got your back. I hate the Daytona 500 winners interview now. You barely see the winner with the Harley J. Earl Trophy, and then on the front stretch they say to the driver, "Congrats, you made the playoffs." Like, who cares? Says NASCAR race fan. Yeah, that's definitely another thing that's sort of irritating. Let's just have victory lane interviews, please. Like, for real. Can we stop it with the front stretch stuff? We've already cost one driver their career. Can we just have a victory lane interview? They won a crown jewel, the Great American Race, says Napa Race fan. Toby Keith was an amazing artist and will be missed. I agree. Xfinity is going to be the Xfinity is going to be very competitive with road course races full time. Oh yeah, Xfinity is going to be the show this year, in my opinion. That is great news. EB, says Mark Barnum. LOL, sounds good. Dinner bell is ringing. Have a good night, everyone. John Lynch's team for the Super Bowl. Appreciate you, say Kyle. Hey, B, glad to hear things are looking up. Rest in peace, Toby Keith. That one hurt. Thanks, y'all, says B. Who wins first, that Jones boy or Ty? Harrison Burton is on the hot seat. Yeah, Harrison Burton's definitely on the hot seat. I agree with you, wise guy. How will Legacy do this season? I think Eric Jones will do really well. I don't know how John Hunter Nemechek's going to do. That 42 car has always been a little bit off. So I don't think it'll even have anything to do with John Hunter, just so much as that team, for whatever reason, seems a little farther behind. Glad to hear you, B, says T-Van. Parker Kligerman drinks spiked coolers. That's a fact. He is a spiked man. What are your other make or break drivers for the year apart from Parker Kligerman? Harrison Burton for sure. You could say it about Austin Cindric. I think he's definitely in a make or break season. I think it'll be a make season for Austin Cindric. I think he was just in a lot of bad situations last year. They just had a lot of bad mojo. I think Austin Cindric has a good year this year. Daniel Suarez seems like he's always on the hot seat, but I don't personally believe that myself. I think he's in a fine situation. But a lot of people think he's in a make or break year. I think he'll be all right. Toyota wins Daytona, says one wise guy. I mean, I'm not going to bet against that. And don't sleep on Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson's actually good at these plate tracks as well. He's got several wins there. What if Cody Ware won the Daytona 500? Would it be a bad look for NASCAR? I don't think he's in it though. I think isn't Riley Herbst running the 15 for the 500? So I don't think he's even racing in it. But I could be totally wrong about that. They could show all kind of other racing as well, says Shaw. Like saying B. How's your documentaries coming along? They're coming. They're coming, my friend. Hell, they could just show past old school races and fill the days and hours, says Shaw. Carl Weathers, thank you. So Carl Weathers is the guy from Happy Gilmore and Apollo Creed. I appreciate it. I couldn't think of his name to save my soul. Rest in peace to Carl Weathers too. Apollo Creed, says Napa Racing fan. Has Red Farmer put out an update? Nah, just that he had the stroke, but we know he's as tough as they get. So hopefully, I didn't mention that on any of my stuff. So I'm glad, or on any of my regular videos, I should say. So yeah, shout out to Red Farmer. Hopefully he pulls through. He had a stroke, for those who don't know. BB, you ever going to finish the poll? I always finish them after I log off. So if you just hang out for a minute after the poll, you will see the poll. Like after I log off, I close the poll, so you will see the poll there. And I always say traditions, because it started off as a joke, but I always forgot to do it. Now I just do it on purpose. I would make Kurt Busch a crew chief, and every once in a while I'll do a second poll. So sometimes I finish them in the middle. I would make Kurt Busch a crew chief, screw broadcasting, but I will tell you who's winning right now. 43% say keep it in Daytona. 37% want it to move around, so super tight. 11% want to move it around and every fourth year do it at Daytona, and 9% want to just get rid of it altogether. Talking about the Clash. Let's see. I would make Kurt Busch a crew chief, screw broadcasting. So he's got a pretty cush job over there with 2311. I'll always remember Carl as Chubbs from Happy Gilmore. Yeah, so that's I couldn't remember his name from Happy Gilmore. He was Chubbs in Happy Gilmore. Carl Weathers, who played Apollo Creed, and Grief Karga in The Mandalorian. He was in I still haven't seen The Mandalorian, by the way, so I have to check that out. Kurt has almost gotten too sensitive. May start crying in the booth. LOL says Dirty Death. He's been through it here the last year. You can tell he still wants to be out there racing. Kurt knows cars and race strategy. The playoffs aren't even exciting. So why bring it up in the middle of something great like the Daytona 500 win? Says Lovey. Yeah, that's I agree with you. That just leave that conversation for the next day, because talking about the playoffs day one, I don't know. They're just trying to push the playoffs and make it special. I get what they're doing, but it's I don't know. I'm just never going to like this current version of the playoffs. I think there's a version of the playoffs you can have that more or less would reward a bit of a better representation of a championship year than this format does. So I'm not going to say I'm against playoffs, but I'm against this version of the playoffs, that's for sure. Nothing against Boyer. Kurt Busch has done some truck races in the past. I always enjoy the Cup drivers doing the Xfinity truck and ARCA races as well. That's for sure. Carl Weathers also, praying for Carl Weathers also, says T-Van. Herbst in the 15 car for the 500, says Chrome. So that's what I was thinking. BB would be the Earth 2 Clash race. What would be the Earth 2 Clash race, and where would it be? Let's see. So Earth 2, Bristol Dirt, would have been a massive success. So we need a second Bristol Dirt race on Earth 2 since on Earth 2 it would be a massive success. So I'm thinking Bristol Dirt. Prediction for or Mesa Marin or Riverside, since those tracks did so well that they'll never be demolished. So those would be the three options. Prediction for Chandler Smith this year. Chandler Smith is a good talent. I don't know. I'm going to say 2 wins. I'm going to say 2 wins for Chandler Smith, and I'm also going to say 2 wins for Sammy Smith. So the Smiths, I got it 2 wins apiece. That's kind of how I'm thinking on both of them. How many years does Ricky Stenhouse have left in the 47? Is he on the hot seat? That I don't know about. Like, I feel like if the 47 got the right driver, they would get rid of Ricky Stenhouse. But until that driver comes up that they want to put in there, I think Ricky Stenhouse is pretty safe. Red Farmer, I've had a stroke, not a fun time, says T-Van. Yeah, I haven't had one myself, but I had an uncle that had one, and it definitely not a fun thing to go through. I'll leave it at that. Imagine race fans wanting less racing. Y'all don't make no damn sense. LOL. Says Bumblebee. Will Deegan get her first? So she's obviously against getting rid of the Clash, which that poll question was spurred by Denny Hamlin talking on his podcast. Imagine racing fans. I just read that one. Will Deegan get her first top 10 in Xfinity this weekend? I mean, it's as good a place as anywhere. Grief Karga is my favorite character. Hopefully I'm saying that right. In The Mandalorian, simply because of Carl Weathers. There's the link to the store there, and Delmar Kaufman reminding everybody that Carolina beat Duke, which is just inappropriate. Inappropriate, Delmar. I'm just kidding. I know you're a Carolina fan. I'm just not. Let's see. Earth 2 Clash is on Rainbow Road, but congratulations, y'all. It was a great game, and y'all definitely earned it. I'm just never gonna like UNC. Earth 2 Clash is on Rainbow Road from Mario Kart. That would be awesome. That would be awesome. So yeah, we can. I never thought about putting fantasy tracks on Earth 2. That would definitely work. Mark Barnum, number 18 at best. I will be happy if she finishes running. We'll see. We'll see. You never know. I feel like she puts in enough seat time that it's eventually going to click for her, and she's definitely racing everything else when she's not racing in the Xfinity Series. So I think eventually it'll click for her. So we'll see. Now, how good she'll be, we don't know. But I think she'll start getting more consistent finishes and not getting racing in the middle of the pack is what I'm getting at. Corey LaJoy will win the 500, says Mark Martin fan for life. With that long shot, I'm out, guys. Says Mark Martin fan for life. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. loves to shop at Kroger. That's a fact. And when he's on the West Coast, he goes to Ralph's and gets his Cheerios. Check out Ben Rhodes on the latest episode of Out of the Groove. He had an interesting theory about all the carnage in the truck series. It's worth checking out. I'll definitely check it out. Do you think we have too many road courses, not enough, or just right? I think 4 to 6 is probably the right amount. We don't need to add any without taking one away. I would like to see Road America back at some point though. During the week, Michael McDowell works at Love's Travel Shop. That's for sure. I wonder if we'll ever see a Buc-ee's car. Like, there's a lot of Buc-ee's love being shown by NASCAR folks. I wonder if we ever see a Buc-ee's car here. I'm not happy they moved the races this year for the Olympics. For one, the Glen in September. I bet they don't sell out, even though it's a playoff race this year. Mario Kart has a more fair point system than the current playoff format. That is a fact, Rome Diesel. The Clash needs to go to a track owned by Marcus Smith. That would be pretty cool. I feel like they could hype it up pretty good. But then they couldn't have the Clash and the All-Star. So maybe they would have to give up the All-Star for that to happen. I don't know. Corey LaJoy drinks Celsius along with AJ Allmendinger. That is a fact. In between the lanes, I root for and Logan Misaraka also used to drink it, but I don't think she drinks it anymore, according to the statement she put out. I root for Deegan. I think she has talent. I love watching her dad back in the day on VHS videos. I'm old, says Steve Van. That's a fact. Bucky's race in Texas, Duke Chronic. That would be pretty cool. They got one in Texas as well. They've got one in Tennessee, and they've got one in North Carolina, and I think they've got a couple in Florida. So those are the Buc-ee's that I've seen. They've got one in South Carolina as well. Those are the Buc-ee's that I've seen in my travels. Do you think we'll ever see more involvement with Andretti Racing and NASCAR this season with F1 news? I don't think Michael Andretti is going to give up, so I think he eventually gets in by nook or crook, and I think Cadillac will be the ones powering them. I found a great video on it, but I don't know the guy at all, and that's his whole deal. I would love to do some commentary on it, but I don't know. I don't want to rub him the wrong way by commenting on his content, and but he did a great job. I wish I could explain it like he explained it. I really hope Deegan proves me wrong, but I refuse to get my hopes up. It will be a pleasant surprise when she clicks finally, says Shy. Yeah, that's I understand where you're coming from. If you don't expect anything, you're always pleasantly surprised. I think Benjamin Franklin said something like that. So yeah, that's not necessarily a bad outlook to take. Are we done talking about Matty D for this season? Unless he gets a ride that we don't know about, I think we could be done talking about him for the season. And looks like we have reached the end of the chat here. So I'm going to finish doing a thumbnail. I'm uploading a video. So give me about 10 or 15 minutes. There will be a video that comes up after this live stream, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Until then, hope your team wins the Super Bowl, as long as your team is the 49ers. Peace.